Welcome in, everybody, to Fantasy Pros MLB. It's time to look ahead to the waiver wire this week, and it's me, Joey P. Joe Pisapia. With me, of course, is the Welsh to help you find all the players you need for all of your fantasy rosters. And Welsh, let's start in Colorado because something good has to happen here, and it looks like Jordan Beck is that thing. It might be the only thing all year. It's that gloom and doom right now, but Jordan Beck is on fire. He's rostered in 43% of leagues, hitting 283, 5 dingers, 10 ribbies. He's been red hot. He's also got 4 stolen bases as well. So Zach Veen was the guy everybody was talking about in the beginning of the year, but Jordan Beck so far is the one who's giving you productivity in fantasy.
Yeah, and Colorado is like this great boon of fantasy value. Oh, it's a great hitting, and it's just like everybody has stunk. I will say Michael Toglia is coming around, so I might also want to look at him if he's been dropped all over the place. But Jordan Beck picked up all 5 of his season homers since April 24th. He had a really big hot streak. So the sample sizes are a bit inflated, but the big positives that we're going to look out, besides the counting stats, from a baseball savant standpoint, if you're looking at the sliders here, it is red. It is very red. It's like top 15 percentile, whether it's hard hit, barrel, expected slug, even into bat speed. He's putting well above league average bat speed. 20% barrel, 52% hard hit rate. Everything looks really good. Problem, he's still striking out 32% of the time, but he's going to get moved up in this lineup. They're not winning games. There's availability out there. And I think he's moving past the range where he's going to get back down to option, even though if they bring up like Zach Veen or whatever, they're going to need a couple guys to stay hot. Jordan Beck is that, and he's still relatively under-owned after being one of the hottest bats last week. So I would be looking at Jordan Beck and taking advantage of that home ballpark when they're, attempting to score a run or two every other day.
The Colorado Rockies. Can you imagine the least amount of runs scored in Major League Baseball in Colorado? Unbelievable. Let's get to another outfielder. This one from the Dodgers, Andy Pages, who is also rostered in just under 40% of leagues currently. Welsh, we talked about this guy last year, you and I, off air. I remember during the playoffs, I was saying, I really like this Pages kid, man. I think he's going to be a big breakout guy next year. And so far, he has been really solid here for the Dodgers. 6 homers, 13 RBI on the year. Now, he does have some strikeouts, got 24 strikeouts in 27 games, but he's been red hot. Over his last 6 games, he's hitting 600. Of course, that's not sustainable, but we're talking about a 24-year-old kid here who's got legitimate power here, very aggressive approach, hits the ball really hard, right-handed power bat. So Pages, to me, is another one of these guys where I think if he's still floating out there on the waiver wire, I want to add him and see where this goes as the year progresses.
Well, and fun thing too is for right-handed pull hitters in LA, it's actually one of the better ballparks, especially from a home run ballpark factor. He hasn't really taken advantage of it either. 4 of his 6 homers have come on the road. He's hit 2 at home, but he does have these road home splits. He's only hitting 229 on the road, but 333 at home. So there's some weird oddities with him because he hits lower in the lineup. It's the Dodgers. They've got so many players. Where is it going to end up going? Statistically, he is overperforming what some of the expected stats are saying. He's got a 70-point expected batting average lower than his current, but you're starting to see he's hitting the ball a little bit harder. He's getting the ball in the air, almost a 20-degree launch angle, taking advantage of that left field. He's barreling. He's got to hit the ball a little bit harder, but they are giving him the job throughout the season. They're not wavering off of him. I would rather have Jordan Beck than any Pages. That was a pretty popular question this past week. Which one? It's Beck, but Pages in that lineup, a number 8 hitter for the Dodgers, probably better than a number 4 hitter for the Rockies.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. I agree. If you had priority waivers, I'd put Beck ahead of Pages. But at the same time, I think both of them are going to be useful here as we turn the page into May. Let's go to one more hitter is in the minor leagues. I don't know what more Jordan Lawlar has to do. I'll be honest with you. He's rostered in about 40% of leagues right now on CBS, and I get it. The Diamondbacks have been patient with him. He's had injuries. All of that is fair. But at the same time, Welsh, we're in a spot where the kid's hitting like 350. He's got a 4 something on base percentage, a 600 slugging in 24 games. I know the offense is not a problem. I know Ketel Marte's coming back soon too. I get it. The Diamondbacks can hit. But at the same time, you got to bring Jordan Lawlar up to the big leagues and see what you can get out of him sooner than later. So do you think now is the right time to stash him, even though as of recording this, we still don't have any answers as whether or not the timetable is going to be sooner or later?
He's getting a lot of coverage from us. We do a fun video. It's prospecting with the Welsh we do on a show, and we do that as a short you guys can check out. And I've talked about him, so I don't want to get too repeaty about it. But like Mike Hazen has said, he's going to get to the majors when he's ready. It's not going to matter. He's going to push his way on everything else, but it clearly does matter. Like, what more can you do than hit 350 plus and 6 homers and everything like that? What more can you do? Well, he is blocked. But there are 3 players right now for prospects that I think are worth stashing at this moment. Bubba Chandler, Roman Anthony, and Jordan Lawlar. The paths for Roman Anthony and Jordan Lawlar are the murkiest, but again, Lawlar is doing everything you possibly can. He is making more, his zone contact percentage up to 87%. That's from the 70s last year. He's hitting the ball relatively hard. He's getting it in the air. He's becoming just a better contact hitter. You really want to see them play him in the outfield a tiny bit. Cattell is coming back. Perdomo's locked in, and Eugenio is definitely kind of getting back into that trajectory after that 4 home run game of being locked in. So you're going to have to find a spot for him. Pay attention if he starts playing in the outfield a little bit, but there's only so much longer that they can hold him down or trade him. He is worth picking up right now, because once he's up, the world's going to jump at trying to get him, because that hot bat in a very hitter-friendly environment is going to be an asset.
And I hope it's there with the Diamondbacks. I don't want to see them move on
too.
from him. I would like to see them keep him. And I get it. Like, Perdomo was a guy that, you signed and you liked, and you want to try to give him some berth there. But I mean, Lawlar was that prospect that everybody was salivating over, and it's taken him a little while.
Perdomo though, top 10 in WAR in baseball.
I know. Look, and that's the thing. You can't replace Perdomo. Like, he has been really solid offensively too, more so than I think a lot of people thought.
100%.
But those are some bats right now we're looking to add. Before we get to the pitchers, a quick reminder too: the waiver assistant is available for you. So if you're struggling with waiver wire decisions in your fantasy baseball league, the waiver assistant is here to help you. Just sync your league to receive personalized waiver suggestions tailored to your roster and your league settings. Quickly see which available players will improve your team and by how much. Download the Fantasy Baseball My Playbook app or visit fantasypros.com/myplaybook to gain an edge on the waiver wire today. Let's look at some arms. Last week, we talked about Will Vest, and he keeps getting saves. He's up to 38% rostered, still not enough. So this is just another public service announcement to take a look at Will Vest if you have some problems potentially in your bullpen. Camilo Doval, another guy who's floating around there still. He's kind of in this weird limbo with Walker in the San Francisco bullpen. But the way bullpen injuries can happen or performance issues can happen. This is not a Kaiser Trex read, everybody. This is just discussion.
Everyone was waiting.
Is Doval, considering where he's at right now in terms of rebound from last year? I mean, he's got a .85 whip, a 2 ERA. He's got 10 strikeouts in 13 innings. He looks far better than last year. Do you think Doval in those deeper leagues is somebody you should be speculating and stashing right now?
I do. I think this is cool. We went through like the first week or two where there were a bunch of these like arms you could speculate on and who's got the jobs. And then we hit this lull. I don't know if you remember, like 2 weeks ago, a week and a half ago, where it was like, there's nobody anymore. And then now we're kind of getting back into it where it's like, all right, Will Vest is an option. Alexis Diaz got kind of blown up today. Emilio Pagan is someone you should pay attention to if you're speculating on saves. You can pick him up. You've got Kevin Ginkel, who's back because Justin Martinez has got this dead arm kind of thing that's going on. He's going to get saves. Then you got Camilo Doval. And the most interesting thing about Doval over all of them is if he does take that job, that's the best job across the board. If he's closing for the Giants, it's a great environment. He's done the job before. I'm not sure they need to be as committed to Ryan Walker has to do it. What I do think is a possibility, and so many more teams are doing it, is they're running out multiple guys.
Yeah.
And it might be, we use Ryan Walker for 2 days. Now Doval's going to do it. I would treat this similar to kind of how I had been talking about AJ Puck and Justin Martinez. They're going to leverage between, but I think that makes Doval a guy. If you're in any type of speculation market, you should pick him up. Here would be an interesting one. Would you want Will Vest or Camilo Doval? I kind of think I would want Doval.
I agree. You know why? Because he's got the history of doing it. And I think that
even though
matter.
Vest is the closer right now, I think Doval might be the better option.
I think you might be right too, but both are absolutely guys you should be adding, especially if you're hurting for saves or trying to look ahead if that's a problem for your roster. Problem on the roster for the pitching staff for the Seattle Mariners. Logan Evans might be the solution. He is rostered in just about 10% of leagues. With Logan Gilbert out, Logan Evans is going to get the opportunity. So from one Logan to another, Welsh, give us the prospect breakdown of Evans and what he might be able to do for people's fantasy rotations.
Yeah, I don't know if he's going to be a big strikeout guy. Struck out 3 in 5 innings, but the hope of what you're going to end up having is you're going to have a multifaceted pitcher who's got a great catcher. I mean, if you're going to have Cal Raleigh, running games for him, you're putting a really good spot. He used 4 different pitch types. 10% or more of the time, but 9% or more, he ran out 6 different pitches, from a cutter sinker, four-seam fastball. He had a sweeper, changeup, and a curveball. The problem was there wasn't a lot of whiffs across the board. It actually came from his four-seam fastball, which isn't like a big monster pitch. He threw that the least amount of any pitch, but here's where you're getting at it. He induced some not great contact against. Expected batting average in that first was 154. His expected ERA from that start is lower. He gave up low hard contact. It's a pitcher-friendly environment. Hey, guess what? He can go deeper into games, older pitcher. I'd rather have him than Emerson Hancock, I think, right now. And I think they're going to turn to him while they're figuring out, Kirby's coming back soon. That'll be the big key. Kirby is doing a rehab start here soon. If Emerson Hancock gets blown up again, Logan Evans might stay in the rotation. So he is someone to look at for maybe quality starts, hopefully some wins. But you're going to hope the ratios are going to keep down. Probably not a big strikeout guy, though.
Two more guys to talk about in terms of arms, both Miami guys coming back from injury. First, Ryan Weathers, rostered in about 30% of leagues, and Eury Perez in about 45. Now, look, Eury Perez showed you how good he can be, and we're talking about one of the bright, shining stars in baseball. Now, Weathers is probably going to get there first, but Perez is the guy that I've got my eye on, and I know everyone's freaking out now because Sandy Alcantara is struggling with his return and his Tommy John and all the control issues, but we're talking about Perez as a totally different pitcher than Alcantara, not one that's relying on control. He has got that blow you away kind of stuff. So I'm not as concerned, but I am very excited about the opportunity for Perez, who seems to be not just on schedule, but maybe even ahead of schedule, already making short rehab starts. We could see him before we turn the page on Memorial Day. And Perez and Weathers are two guys, if you're in deeper leagues looking for some arms, it could really help your rotation in the latter part of the season.
Yeah, I agree. Something I think is not out of pocket either is Sandy Alcantara's trade market could be dictated by Eury coming back. Like, as Eury comes back and they have to make moves in the rotation, it could be something about him going. By the way, Eury ended up spending an offseason with Alcantara to learn that change up. And I'm very encouraged. It looks like June. I think you should pick him up right now because the buzz is out there. He had a rehab start. This is a top pitcher. He's going to build back up. If you got an IL, you should do it. Ryan Weathers, I've even seen as much that Weathers might be back this week. I'm not sure if that is actually true back into the rotation, but a lot of buzz about him, the strikeout rate potentially going up, a really good spring. He's got a nasty, nasty sweeper that last year it only ran out, where did it go? It ended up running out a 51% whiff rate, which is ridiculous. And he set that up with a mid-90s fastball. I'm excited to see him back, see if we can push off some of the big strikeout numbers again. So I think he is streamed to a little bit above, but Eury Perez should be the main target because he is going to be back sooner rather than later.
All right, that's a look at the waiver wire this week. Drop your comments below. Who are you picking up this week on the waiver wire? And don't forget to subscribe to Fantasy Pros MLB. Help us get to 30,000 subscribers this year. We can do it with your help. That'll do it for us. But the story of the game goes on. For the Welsh, I'm Joey P. We'll see you next time, kids.